Bringing you the top stories from Bonners Ferry to St. Mary's and everywhere in between, this is the North Idaho Prepcast with Ryan Scaggs.
That's right. Welcome in another edition of the North Idaho Prepcast, breaking down districts 1 and 2 almost every week in the state of Idaho. Brandon Baney alongside Ryan Scaggs. We missed last week because,
well, it's called a rain postponement, right? That's what everybody else has been doing this week.
That's right. Sometimes life just gets in the way. So
yeah, we had a lightning delay that ended up canceling. So,
but this works out a little better anyways, because we're kind of going earlier in the week than we usually do to bridge the gap between what happened last weekend, what is still to come, which is a lot of district action this week. And then believe it or not, state's like next week.
There's a lot of births on the line, and there's plenty of action to go around this week, and a lot of it's do or die time, or the witching hour, if you will, for everybody. So yeah,
for sure.
Been some craziness, that's for sure.
Definitely. So we are recording this on Tuesday, May 10th. Monday is always a big golf day in the spring. There's always lots of golf invites on Monday, and we had some district meets up north yesterday, Ryan, and some district champions on the links.
Yeah, so obviously the 5As are playing today at Lewiston Country Club. I'm slightly jealous because I see sunshine in the sky today, so it's a good day for that one. But the 4As are settled. The Moscow boys won their first district title since 2012. Team score of 346. Qualifiers for state out of the 4A on the boys side is Brady Hanna from Lakeland, Joey Axel from Sandpoint, and Braden Brown of Moscow, who was the medalist, shooting a 78, and that was at the University of Idaho. And then the girls' side, Sandpoint girls ended up winning the team title with a 409, and the qualifiers is Alexa Tanistra from Sandpoint, Maya Parsons from Moscow, and Taylor Meyer from Sandpoint are the three automatic qualifiers for 4A golf. So cool that the Moscow Bears end up, have been known historically to be pretty competitive on the golf side. I didn't know it hadn't been 10 years since their last district title, but the Moscow boys bring it home with a 346. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I talked about all year, Bryden Brown for Moscow is such a great golfer. No surprise that he was your medalist there. What happened at the lower levels in golf?
So you got 3A. Bonners Ferry girls ended up winning. The Kellogg boys won in a playoff, won the district title there. So that's pretty cool. Bonners Ferry, their top 4 girls golfers all qualified for state, entering the top 4 bids for automatic qualifiers. And then there was a 4-way tie for 4th on the boys side. But Luke Butler from Priest River was the medalist. Then Archie Ravenhorst from Kellogg and Griffey Dorschel from Kellogg also qualified as automatic qualifiers at 3A. And then at 2A, Genesis Prep boys, district champs, shot a 348. And then the St. Mary's girls are the district champs on the 2A girls side. And that happened, I believe those were at Pinehurst Golf Course up in the Silver Valley. So congrats to both of those programs and punching their tickets to state.
Awesome. Teams that I'm going to be keeping an eye on at state. Definitely Bonners Ferry on the girls' side. I think the Badgers have a really
Avery
good...
Bayer and Brayla Bayer. They're awesome. Yeah, they're solid. They're within one stroke of each other in districts, and they get the automatic qualifiers.
Yeah, between the Bayers and Kimberly has a really good individual golfer, Reese Gary. That individual title on the 3A girls side is going to be fantastic to watch. So
I believe they're playing out in Wilder for the state tournament this year. So
yeah, they are. Yeah,
a cool course choice for them. And the state sites down in the Treasure Valley are kind of off the beaten path from what I think you would expect state tournaments to be, but I think there's some great, like Falcon Crest is going to be one of the courses of choice for, I think the 4As play down there out in Cuna. So it'll be interesting to see how the scores go and if the weather holds up next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So good luck to those golfers as they advance on to state coming up next week. So
yeah, good luck to all of them. And so, there's been a lot going on.
Yes.
Where else do you want to go? Let's go. So I'm in.
No doubt. All right. Well, let's move on to softball. We had district softball action yesterday. A lot of it, though, got pushed back or pushed to later in the week. Not necessarily because, I mean, the weather's been bad, but not
It's been
just
really
like,
bad.
not just yesterday, but really like the last 10 to 14 days. It's really just made the schedule a mess. And so
Yeah.
we got to the end of the runway, and a lot of leagues, didn't complete the full conference schedule. So if you go to IdahoSports.com and look at the standings for baseball, softball, they're going to be a little messy. There's going to be some teams that played 15. There's going to be some teams that played 10. It's all over the place. But we can tell you concretely, and we will, if you're watching the video version of this on IdahoSports.com's YouTube channel, their Facebook page, I'm going to share the brackets up on the screen so you can follow along as we dissect these. If you're listening audio only at IdahoSports.com or wherever you download your podcasts, just go to the homepage, IdahoSports.com. We've got all the baseball and softball district brackets there. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and let's go to the one district tournament that took place yesterday in softball. That was at the 2A level, the Central Idaho League, District 1 and 2 in the first game. So this is kind of an interesting tournament where you've got 2 versus 3, and the 1 seed gets a bye, and then the 1 seed plays whoever lost the first game, and then they play whoever won the first game. So it basically gives that league champ a chance to win the thing outright. Basically, if it's a round robin, everybody plays each other, and whoever goes 2-0 wins the district. And if everybody goes 1-1, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, then it moves into the bracket portion down on the bottom. But St. Mary's went 2-0. They beat Grangeville 14-0. They beat Orofino 6-0. A pair of shutouts from their standout pitcher in the circle, Tacey Watkins, and the Lumberjacks headed back to state.
Yeah, Tacey Watkins, 28 Ks over 12 innings pitched, threw a 1-hitter and then threw a 2-hitter in the nightcap, and just an absolute unbelievable effort from the pitcher for the Lumberjacks. And we were talking off air, she's probably the best pitcher in the state of Idaho. I mean, I don't think there's much question about that. And then what she does in the circle too from the mound, man, she's does it from the batter's box also. Just a great all around player, and to fan 28 over 12 innings is an insane stat. Because I mean, if you do the math, you would be looking at 36. So she's just right there of perfecto, and that's pretty insane.
Yeah, the only other pitcher I can even think of off the top of my head in terms of just the gaudy statistics, at the 5A level, Timberline's got a really good pitcher, but I mean, you're talking about a 5A versus a 2A. I mean, that's pretty good company to keep for Tacey Watkins. So yes, St. Mary's advances to state. They got a really bad draw in the bracket last year where they had to play Malad, the champs, right away in the first round. This year it's seeded according to Max Preps. We'll see if that works out better or worse for St. Mary's. Orofino ends up taking second place, and they will have a chance to fight their way to state via a play-in game Saturday at McCall Donnelly. Opponent to be determined. They will play the third place team from District 3. Ryan, that district tournament hasn't even started yet. It starts today. I think generally people are seeming to think that, it could be Melba, it could be Nampa Christian, maybe. New Plymouth is kind of the favorite in that district, and maybe Melba, Nampa Christian, somebody like that. But I'll give Orofino a great chance. Orofino quietly had a very good season. They just happen to play in the same league as St. Mary's.
And that's the thing. We talk about the Max Preps rankings, and St. Mary's didn't shy away from playing a heavy 3A schedule. And I think that's going to really greatly help their ranking as they approach, the state tournament, how it gets seeded. Orofino, much the same. I mean, they played up a lot too. And I think that's going to benefit the Maniacs a bit as they approach this. I think I'm going to give them a chance to actually punch their ticket to state. I think that they've got the offensive firepower. I mean, you didn't see it yesterday because they're playing Tacey Watkins, which, not many people have a chance against her. But, I think Orofino can find their way into the state tournament. I really do.
Yeah. Now, usually on the Idaho High School Activities Association website, they have the final regular season Max Preps rankings. They haven't posted those yet.
Yeah.
And so we'll wait until they post that official list because. Go ahead.
Isn't Orofino hosting the state tournament too in softball this year? So I think that, that would be pretty sweet if the Maniacs can find a way to play at home.
Yes, they are hosting. So
Yeah.
that's a huge advantage for St. Mary's also.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Place that, I mean, they played the district tournament and, at home, but they get a, place that they've played regularly, on the road a few times this year. So, it's the friendly confines of North Idaho. I think will maybe be the benefit for the North this year.
Weird, splitting up state tournaments and having them at different venues around the state. What a crazy idea.
Amazing concept, right?
Would that work in other sports? I don't know. We better just
maybe we should take notes. I don't know. Maybe we should do a podcast about that. I don't know.
What a crazy idea. All right, we'll get off our soapbox. We'll basketball. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, every other softball bracket starts today, Ryan. So this can kind of serve as a primer, and it'll be really fun to come back and look at how right or wrong we were with some of these predictions. Let's work from smallest to biggest, since we kind of already tackled 2A, and let's go to the White Pine League, where here are the play-in games today. The field in, and I'm never sure how to pronounce the town adjacent to Kendrick. Is it Julietta?
Yeah, Julietta.
Okay, Julietta. That's where Kendrick plays all of their baseball and softball games. And so Julietta is going to host a doubleheader today. Number 6, Nez Perce will play number 3, Kendrick. Number 5, Genesee will play number 4, Prairie. And the way the White Pine League works, because it's a 6-team affair, whoever wins those play-in games will advance to state. The 4 teams that'll play in the bracket all clinch bids, and from there, it's just a matter of who finishes where. I guess they only take 3, so you've got a 3 out of 4 chance of making it to state. Potlatch, the 1 seed, Clearwater Valley, the 2 seed, and whoever wins these 2 play-in games. I'm inclined to lean Kendrick, and I kind of think Genesee. Genesee got to state last year, as did Prairie, but now they're playing each other in a knockout game.
Yeah, and I like Kendrick on that play-in game on game 1. I think that's going to be a decent game. And then the Prairie Genesee, it does have some very unique, I think, approaches to teams that have a historical pedigree of being in state and being in a play-in game situation. It's kind of rare for both of the programs, but that just shows the depth of the league this year. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go with Prairie. I'm going to stick with Prairie on that top line, and I'm actually going to. Do I want to pick them over Clearwater Valley? I like Prairie a lot. I think they're a sneaky team, just because they've got athletes too. I think they run the bases really well. But Potlatch, I'm going to pick as district champ for sure. I mean, I'm just going to settle the argument right there. But we're going to end it on that one. But the Loggers are a great team. Clearwater Valley's played a great season too. There's not much separation though between 2 and 4 and 2, 4 and 5, 3, 4 and 5 right in there. There's not a ton of separation between those teams.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see Potlatch, Kendrick, and Prairie make it to state, and Clearwater out, or any comment Potlatch. I think you can go ahead and just book it. The other 2 spots is going to be pretty fascinating to watch how that all plays out. Genesee will host the proper district tournament on starting on Wednesday after these play-in games tonight. But I agree, Potlatch definitely the favorite there. 3A Intermountain League. Number 1 seed is Timberlake, and they ran away.
They are a buzzsaw. Yeah, I put it in ink. We'll put it in Sharpie that Timberlake's going to be the district champ.
And honestly, I think Kellogg as the 2 seed also has a significant advantage over Priest River, the 3 seed, or Bonners Ferry, the 4 seed. So I think you book it. Kellogg, Timberlake. I feel pretty good about both those teams advancing. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would be willing to hang my hat on that one and put it in Sharpie. Timberlake, the 1 seed, is going to make it. Kellogg is the 2 seed. I think that they just, pitching is going to win out at the end of the day. Sorry, Bonners Ferry and Priest River, but I don't think they're going to have enough to match what Kellogg can bring to the table. But nobody's going to top Timberlake, and it's going to take a miracle to beat that one. Kind of like a Kentucky Derby type effort. So.
Yeah, for sure. So Timberlake hosts Bonners Ferry today at 4. Kellogg hosts Priest River today at 4 as well. And that's the 3A IML.
And we finally have sunshine in North Idaho today. So those games will be played today.
Yes. 4A, I didn't want to show the bracket because there's not anything to show yet because we just kind of figured out where everybody slots in and we haven't had a chance to update our bracket yet. I think 4A IEL is like the last league to like finish regular season play because you had Lakeland play Moscow in a regular season finale doubleheader yesterday in softball.
Yep. Yeah, Lakeland won the first game, which gave them the outright league championship, the number 1 seed into the district tournament, which will start Thursday this week. Moscow won the second game, but Lakeland, all they needed to do was split in order to win the league title. So they're 12-12 overall in the year, 6-2 in conference in the 4A side. They defeated Sandpoint in a sweep. This is kind of an interesting one because that one I believe was on Saturday. They won the first game 12-1. And then they won the second game 9-0, but they only played, I believe, until the top of the third inning. They found a little known rule in the state of Idaho that if you play for at least 90 minutes and both teams agree, you can call it a complete game. Well, they had 3 separate lightning delays for half an hour during that last game. They were ahead 9-0, and that was going to be the called final score of that one. And so Lakeland came away with a sweep over Sandpoint. So kind of an interesting stat there. But yeah, Lakeland gets the number 1 bid. Moscow's number 2, Sandpoint's number 3 headed into the district tournament on Thursday.
So the way that works, Sandpoint will play Moscow in a play-in game. Winner of that will play Lakeland in a best-of-3 game series. And again, that kind of got pushed back later in the week. I think it was supposed to start a little earlier. But
speaking of getting pushed back in 5A,
yeah, let's do it. Here's
Coeur d'Alene at Post Falls, 3rd time's a charm. Coeur d'Alene beats Post Falls 8-4, clinching the league title after 3 rainouts. So, yeah, a big deal for the Vikings, 16-2 overall, 9-2 on the season, getting that league championship. Today, Coeur d'Alene's playing Lake City, and that's at Coeur d'Alene High School, and then Post Falls plays Lewiston at Canfield Middle School, which is just down the street from Coeur d'Alene High School. So 2 really nice facilities, and field conditions should be great for softball today.
Right, and I just realized if you're looking at this bracket, first round games are today, Tuesday, May 10th. And then the semifinal and loser out games, those will be Wednesday. So everything got pushed back a day. So I got to change that on the bracket.
Yeah,
I got to push everything back a day.
Bumped a little bit because of the rainouts from last week and everything else. And 5A, Coeur d'Alene, I look as a favorite. Obviously, they've had a great season. Lewiston's my dark horse, or not really a dark horse. They're the 2 seed. Post Falls, you never know, and the Trojans could pull out a shocker against the Bengals today. I think that's going to be a great game between those 2 programs. I look at Coeur d'Alene to get the 1 seed and win the district championship outright. And then, getting that number 2 spot to play the play-in game this weekend. I do think our number 2 team out of the North is going to make it to state. I think they win that play-in game, but it should be interesting to see how things shake out.
It's very interesting because typically that play-in game is always against somebody from Boise, but this time it's against somebody from East Idaho, which is kind of unusual. The 3rd place team from the East.
That's crazy.
That's weird, right? Isn't that weird?
I believe that's District 3, the E team, which would be the fifth place team.
Yes,
District 3.
You're correct. You are correct. Yeah. I was going to say that didn't look right.
No. But I mean, you still got solid programs down the Treasure Valley. I still like Post Falls or Lewiston against that team. I think that, especially if you get your best pitcher on the mound in a 1-game scenario, I think, in a neutral site, I believe that game probably be played in Grangeville. I'm assuming. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to take either the Bengals or the Trojans in that play-in game.
I'm getting eerie vibes here, Ryan. This is looking just like girls basketball, where you had 3 really outstanding teams. Coeur d'Alene was the 1 seed. They didn't make it. And a lot of those Vikings are on this softball team as well. I'm
telling you. Yeah, but knowing those girls, they're not gonna stand for that. Skylar Burke is absolutely raking at the plate right now, and I think if she has to, she'll single-handedly take them into the state tournament. So she's not going to get jinxed twice by us.
Right. Well, good luck and good vibes. The 5A postseason starts today.
Yeah.
Let's go to baseball. We actually
Sure.
we'll stick with 5A IEL. They actually were able to get in their first round games yesterday, thanks to the miracle of hard work and diamond dust. But okay, Lewiston is the 1 seed. They beat 4 seed Post Falls 11-5. Number 2 Coeur d'Alene hosted number 3 Lake City. Vikings win 11-1, all chalk. So today in Lewiston, you've got Lewiston hosting Coeur d'Alene for the district championship, and you've got Post Falls traveling to Lake City in a loser-out contest.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. I mean, Ryan Schneider yesterday for Coeur d'Alene pitched a one-hitter with 9 Ks. And that game was brought to you in part by Diamond Dry, where 25 bags of Diamond Dry were used to make that game playable. So hats off to the grounds crew for making that game happen, because that's an insane one. But Schneider, obviously, we know, signed with Belmont D1 school. And then Lewiston, their lineup is just so tough. The Bengals, I'm going to give the Bengals the nod in this one just because they're playing at home. I think they take the district championship. I do like Coeur d'Alene as the 2 seed, winning winning out the backside of the bracket and getting that play-in game. And I do like the Vikings winning that play-in game. I do think it's going to be Lewiston and Coeur d'Alene. But, I mean, Lake City's been playing tough down the stretch. Post Falls, we know what they can do, even though they've had a bit of a rough spot this year. They still got some great players, and like C.D. Sharples and some of the other guys in that lineup. It's anybody's game at this point in districts, but I look at it to go chalk, I think, as far as approaching state.
I will say second place team again will have a chance to fight their way to state via a play-in game. I think it will be significantly more difficult in baseball than in softball.
Yep. For sure.
That 5th place team from Boise in baseball, whoever it is going to be pretty good. So
yeah, but you're probably going to get Schneider back on the mound if it is Coeur d'Alene. If they get to the play-in game, you're going to get your best arm on the mound. In a 1-game scenario, I might take them just because they can hit the ball so well. Coeur d'Alene does have a great offense at the plate, so we'll see how things go. They play great error-free baseball. So yeah.
Definitely. Okay. 4A IEL, again, we're not going to show the bracket because the dates got pushed back later in the week, but we do know Sandpoint's the 1 seed. Lakeland is the 3 seed, Moscow the 2 seed. And again, the way that works is play-in game, and then the winner of that will play Sandpoint in a best of 3 series. It's been hard to gauge the 4A IEL because they're in this. And can we talk about this for a second? This combined 5A, 4A IEL, I think seemed like a good idea, but it hasn't.
Do you think it's going to be weird this year? Wait till next year.
It hasn't worked because
the IML is becoming a 3-team conference next year too. So a 2-team league, I should say. So
well, I mean, we're used to that. Wallace, Clark Fork, right? Or Clark Fork, Mullen. But okay, so this combined 5A, 4A IEL, basically you're saying you're going to have a ton more conference games because these cross 5A, 4A games are going to count in the conference standings. But what happens is a lot of those games got wiped out. Coeur d'Alene and Moscow never played in baseball, and that was supposed to count in the league standings. Isn't it easier to just say how you did against your 5A schools, that's your conference record? Because it does affect the standings a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Well, and then you had, picking up random, games against some of the lower Greater Spokane League teams too. I mean, you had Post Falls that was picking up games against like Moses Lake. So yeah, I mean, it's a, play your conference as your conference in the same classification. And then just like have a non-league schedule. I don't understand why you have to reinvent the wheel on a 5A, 4A combined and make it count when it shouldn't count.
Yeah, and that's how District 5-6 does it in 5A. They've got what's called the High Country Conference, where there are 5A schools and 4A schools that belong, and they don't combine the leagues. They just say, hey, look, X amount of your non-league games have to be with the 4A schools because they've got schedules to fill, and vice versa. You don't have to have them count towards the league standings, I don't think. But anyways, so 4A's been tough to gauge because the 5A teams are better than the 4A teams in baseball this year. That's just the way it is.
You want to blow your mind, Brandon, though. We can go back to the old days of the border league up here.
Yeah.
If you remember North Idaho, to where you had Washington teams that were league games. So yeah, like
yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to go back there.
No, it's so anyways, 4A's been really hard to gauge. Everyone's got, not ideal records. I do think Sandpoint has the best team though, but we'll see. Crazier things have happened. So
it's going to be settled by a sack race. Maybe we'll see.
Definitely. All right. 3A IML. They also got started yesterday with the opening round. Timberlake, the 1 seed, beat Priest River, the 4 seed, 14-4. Number 2 seed Bonners Ferry beat number 3 Kellogg 11-1. And so you've got the district championship Wednesday at Timberlake. Timberlake will host Bonners Ferry. Kellogg will host Priest River on Wednesday as well in a loser out contest. Second place team from this district has a chance to challenge its state against the third place team from District 3. That is looking like it's probably going to be Payette or Homedale. And that's kind of, to me, that's a coin flip. Could go either way.
I mean, you could be playing at Harmon Killebrew Field. So I don't know, like if there's some hallowed ground down there on the Snake.
Payette,
Payette. But no, I like Timberlake a lot. I think that they've shown more and more throughout the season. We saw them start hot. We didn't really know what to think about them as they, hit the midway point, like around spring break. But then they've been a solid offensive team, and they've been fielding really well too. So I think it's going to go chalk. Timberlake's going to win today. They're going to get the district championship. Bonners Ferry, I don't think Kellogg or Priest River has the firepower to match the Badgers there. And I like Bonners Ferry in a playing game. That's a tough matchup. I mean, Homedale, Payette, they're both solid teams down there. I mean, you could even you never know what happens in districts down there. You throw in Fruitland, or some of the other schools, so not Nampa Christian, but Fruitland. And, it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. And, I think that the Southern Idaho team gets the win in the play-in game, but Bonners Ferry could certainly make it very interesting.
So I think Fruitland and Weiser are playing in the championship down there. Yeah. So I think they've kind of already locked up their spots.
Sweet. So if they're 1 and 2, then you're looking at the Homedale Payette situation. Homedale, we know that they've got, some good players down there. Payette has history too. So it should be interesting. It really should. I think, it would probably favor the Southern Idaho team just because of strength of schedule. But, Bonners Ferry, puncher's chance. I don't know. Like, I don't want to curse anybody. So if they make it, I'm not going to claim that I called it, but I think they've certainly got a chance at getting there. Anybody does at this point in the season. But I really do like Timberlake a lot. Down the stretch, I think that they've got a good enough lineup too that they could probably bring home some hardware at state.
Yeah, the 3A is always the most unpredictable, and that's the tournament I'm going to be broadcasting for IdahoSports.com, Ryan. I've got that state 3A, so
sweet.
We'll see. And I don't know, call it a gut feeling, but I'm liking the Badgers.
Really?
Over Timberlake. I don't know why. Call it a gut feeling.
Man, go to the season record, man.
I know. There's something I can't describe.
Okay. No, if you like it, you like it. I can't fault you for that one.
We'll see. That's probably going to end up looking stupid, but we'll
see. You said it, not me.
We'll see. Speaking of things that were stupid, ridiculous day at the 2A yesterday, CIL.
Nobody wants to win.
We described this in softball where it's a round robin and whoever goes 2-0 wins the district. Well, that didn't happen. Everybody beat each other and some really intense games.
Extra innings games.
Yeah, so you had the first game was number 2 Grangeville against number 3 St. Mary's. Grangeville won that game 8-2, and we thought, okay, here we go. It's going to just chalk. Well, then Orofino, the 1 seed, plays St. Mary's, and St. Mary's rallies late and wins 4-3 in 8 innings. So now you're like, oh, man, now it's Grangeville playing Orofino in the final game of the day, and it's Grangeville with a chance to clinch that bid with a win. Well, it was a pitcher's duel early, and then a flurry of runs in the 5th, 6th, 7th, into the
8th and
eighth.
9th.
And Orofino wins a wild back and forth game 5-4 on a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. So now you've got the, if necessary, Tuesday bracket. I'll hover over it with my, this never happens. This hardly ever happens, but here's the, if necessary, Tuesday bracket. And so what you have today now, 1 o'clock in Orofino, St. Mary's will play Grangeville. The loser is out. So Orofino has at least clinched a spot in the play-in game. So Orofino has a chance to make it to state. Grangeville and St. Mary's will fight for the right to try and advance to state as well. So Orofino will play the winner of Grangeville and St. Mary's. The winner is the district champ. The loser will have a play-in game against the third place team from District 3. That is looking like Marcine, who kind of came out of nowhere. Marcine has been a program that's been really down for a long time. They've got a lot of freshmen this year, but Marcine is kind of looking like who that opponent will be. So again, I think whoever gets there has a chance in that play-in
Shane
game.
McClellan's,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But how chaotic is this? This hardly ever happens, right? Where everybody beats each other.
It's crazy. I mean, you rarely see it, but when it happens, I mean, like from the fan standpoint, it's awesome. Like, this is pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you want to settle it on the field, like you get no better way than like to level the playing field and go at it, get one more go. Now that it's got a little bit more meaning in the loser out game, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see some more extra inning games. I really wouldn't. The regular season was this way. And so, you talk about going back and forth that, Orofino's got a great team. St. Mary's, for some reason, has had their number. And, so it makes things interesting. But, it's like you look at 1, 2, 3 seeds, they're all, I mean, it's all pretty much scratch at this point. I think you get rid of the seeds. I think Orofino, just on sheer playing at home, they're going to be the home team in that game 5. I'm going to take the Maniacs to win it. I think Grangeville is going to get the 2 seed.
The one advantage Orofino has is the pitching. It's just got to be.
Yep.
Because for now, Orofino or Grangeville and St. Mary's, this is their 3rd game in 2 days, and there's pitch count rules on how many pitches a kid can throw in back-to-back days, and so the pitching is like, who's going to step up?
Arms?
Who's going to step up? Because everybody's at the end of the line with their pitching staffs, and so by Orofino having to play one less game, that may give them a slight advantage. But I'm with you. Who knows? It's going to be fun to watch today, though. It starts at 1 o'clock in Orofino. I'm going to be kicked back, probably watching the little game cast on the Game Changer app.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a wild day of baseball up north for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And we talk about facilities, man, that's a gorgeous facility in Orofino. I just got to throw that out there. They've got an insanely cool field. The setting for that place is just awesome.
Yeah. I did the 1A state baseball tournament up in Orofino last year. That was the first time I'd ever been there. And man, I was blown away. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're not hosting anything for state this year. I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, just softball, and that's it. So,
yeah. All right, let's wrap up with, speaking of chaotic and unpredictable, the White Pine League. This is a league where the standings were all over the place. Like, some teams got 15 conference games in, some teams got as few as 9. So all of the athletic directors kind of met and said, how are we going to seed this? let's just figure out how we're going to seed this tournament.
Yep.
And so, in an interesting quirk, Clearwater Valley went 8-6 in the league. Prairie went 8-7. But at this meeting, they determined that Prairie should be the 5 seed and Clearwater Valley should be the 6 seed. I have no idea how they reached that conclusion, but all the ADs and coaches kind of agreed upon it, I guess.
Coin flip, probably. I guess.
So technically, Clearwater Valley had the better conference record, but they had some games get rained out and whatever. So here's what we can tell you in baseball. Genesee is the 1 seed. Troy is the 2 seed. They get first round buys. They have already clinched bids to state because 4 teams get to go, and the winners of the 2 play-in games today will also get to go to state. It's just a matter of who finishes where. So you've got Kamei hosting Clearwater Valley 3 versus 6 today, 4 p.m. And then you've got Kendrick hosting Prairie today at 4 p.m. as well. I'm leaning towards Kamei and Prairie, but I think these games could go either way. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Clearwater Valley was tied for 2nd place in the standings, and now they're the 6th seed. So these are going to be 2 very entertaining games as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Kamei is a sneaky team. I think Kamei could realistically, and it depends. Do they reseed after this playing game? Do they put the true like bottom seeds against Genesee and Troy, or does it kind of like seed in wherever they put them?
So Genesee will play the lowest seeded team
Gotcha.
remaining, and Troy will play.
So
the
it would
highest.
not surprise me if Kamei is playing in the championship game and they get the second seed. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Kamei beats Troy. I like. Oh, I'll take Prairie. I'll take Prairie too. I'll match you.
Okay, I just and again, it wouldn't surprise me if these went any number of ways. It's just
Yep.
And it's hard.
Genesee is the 1 seed. Kamei is the 2 coming out. Troy 3, Prairie 4.
And there's just like there's not even a rhyme or reason to like you don't even get a full snapshot of how good these teams were because not everybody got to play everybody.
Yep.
This year either. So last year there were some wild upsets. I think both of the playing games featured upsets.
Yeah, and like that one's. It wouldn't surprise me to see Kendrick run the table too. You never know. So like, it's just one of those things that you could throw a dart at any one of these teams and they'll be like, okay, yeah, cool. Like they're all deserving. So yeah,
last year I believe Genesee was the 5 seed, and I think Kamei was the 6 seed, and they both got to state. They both knocked, and Genesee of course got hot and ended up winning the entire state championship. So just like every other sport, the White Pine League always seems to be the seeds don't really matter too much.
It's whose line on the bracket is it anyway? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%. So that's what's going on in baseball and softball. A lot of crazy, exciting stuff, which is how we want it this time of year. A lot of unpredictability. So
yeah, and then you throw track in the mix as they wind up, this week too, and there's a bunch of craziness out there. We've had some blistering times show up on the track, and Emily Collins from Lewiston has the number 1 time in the 200 at 25.3, and the number 2 time in the 400 at 56.86. So, Damaris Stuffle from Lewiston also in the 100 hurdles went 15.45. Lily Fanisi threw the disc 135.3. So there's some on the girl side, especially you're seeing some of these gals from North Idaho really show up, and even the relay teams like Lewiston's relay team just tied the 1600 relay school record at 4:03.32. So there's a lot going on. So
yeah, it's heating up, and then next week is just going to be nuts in terms of what's going on for state. So I think what we're going to do, Ryan, is next week we are going to do our state baseball preview, just like we did for basketball, where we do a live preview show and we bring on all the broadcasters and preview state baseball, because IdahoSports.com, once again, will be broadcasting every single pitch from every single state baseball tournament. And then so you can have the week off, Ryan, and then we'll come back with a big spring sports recap of track.
How about I go take some photos from 5A and 4A softball? How about that?
Yeah.
And I'll send it. We can put it on the Instagram page. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. We'll actually have some events up in your neck of the woods that you can go.
So I'll swing by state softball and get a chance to watch and see. Hopefully the Coeur d'Alene Vikings can make a run and see if they can bring home some hardware. And, there'll be some good games up here. I think you've got, it's going to be a great tournament, especially on the 5A side for girls. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So next week it'll be our live state baseball preview. 2 weeks, our spring sports extravaganza wrap up, and then we'll get into some off-season podcasts where during the off-season, during the summer months, we're not going to go away. We want to keep that presence, but we'll bring on some guests. We'll do some interviews with some of the athletes or coaches we've been talking about all year long on the Prepcast.
Well, including a couple of college coaches that I've talked to that want to join us as well. So that'd be pretty cool to talk recruiting and other things, especially University of Idaho athletics, because the Vandals are going to turn some heads, I think, with Coach Eck and his staff for football. So it'll be cool.
Yeah. So that's all still to come. But until then, enjoy all of the district competition and enjoy the nice weather. Hopefully it's around to stay finally.
Yeah, we hope so, man. I'm tired of the rain.
Yeah.
I don't live in Seattle. I live in North Idaho for a reason. Give me some nice weather, please.
Right. No doubt. All right. Well, Ryan Scaggs, as always, thanks for all of your insights, and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks. All right.
All right. Take care. Have a great time at State.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. We'll see you for another edition next time on the North Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.